dope, 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 dope is how I can basically describe this movie, because this shit was dope. So this is Justice League Dark Apokolips War, and this movie is about after the attack on Darkseid by the Justice League and their disastrous loss. 2 years later, the remaining Leaguers and their allies band together to carry out the last-ditch effort to defeat Darkseid and save the world. Now, this movie just literally goes balls out. Like, I was surprised at everything that they did in this movie. For one, you have Superman, who has a loss of power, Batman, who is brainwashed by Darkseid and is his servant, as well as some of the other heroes. And there are a mixture of heroes and villains when it comes to the fight against Darkseid, as you have some are rebelling against Darkseid and the others are brainwashed to fight for him. And from this movie, I mean, I've liked this character before, but John Constantine is starting to be a favorite of mine, which I believe that he's a favorite of a lot of people. Just his cockiness and confidence and how it comes across and all that stuff. And he is basically the main character. I mean, when you think of Justice League Dark, you think of John Constantine. And even though it may deviate from him at times in the film, he is really the main character as the movie starts off with him, and he plays a major component within the battle. And one of the things that I loved about this movie, but it also, I can count it as a negative, is that it has extremely high stakes, because you have heroes dying left and right. And honestly, how the story is, I was really okay with it, because in war, not every single hero is going to survive until the end. And also, like I said before, that's where the negatives come in, because there is no good balance of characters. A lot of the characters that are allies and help along the way aren't really focused on. And not to give any spoilers away or anything, but just have it in your mind that no one is safe in this movie. Not a damn person. So expect a lot of just like cannon fodder, because there are some major names that when they die, it literally is just tossed to the side. Like, it happens and then that's it. Some happen off screen and then you see later. And there is really no major moment to fill the death of that hero, because they play no major part within the story. But it's just really used as cannon fodder, and I really didn't like them doing that to the characters. And sorry if that felt like a spoiler. Notice that I didn't mention any names, but I honestly couldn't mention that without giving some type of like vague example, because to me it felt like a double-edged sword. You can't have one without the other, which I beg to differ. But also, like I said, it wasn't a completely bad thing, because when you're watching stuff like this, you're expecting the heroes to come out and not expecting them to not even be safe in the least bit. And this is how somewhat Endgame should have been, but you know, we gotta make them franchises and we gotta make that money. And as far as Darkseid, he did come across as a major threat, but I thought that they didn't really do him justice. The only negative I have is that he doesn't really do anything until the end of the film, and I feel like he wasn't utilized to the fullest, but he did come across intimidating as hell. And the action in this movie is extremely dope, and the animated choreographed fights are done how they should be done. And I mentioned in my Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge review how the fights were animated and how it wasn't the greatest, and this movie proves that you can animate good fights and great action scenes. And the dialogue wasn't too bad either. So at the end of the day, I give this movie a hit. I came into it not really expecting too much, and I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I love this movie a lot. Like I said, the major thing is just the death of the heroes and just how it was acknowledged. But other than that, this movie is full of just what it should have been full of. You know, no one is safe, and the heroes are put in a position where all hope is lost. And if they don't do this last thing, then it's lights out, you know? So I love that aspect, and I really feel that if you like comic book movies and you're a fan of these type of movies, the animated films as well, you definitely should go ahead and check it out. Get it on Google Play, Amazon Prime, whatever, for rent, or you can just flat out buy it, which I would recommend you buy it, because this movie is really good. So go ahead and check it out. It is a huge hit.